Vladivostok. Just a few years ago, only a spy could have had the view we are seeing here now. For decades, Vladivostok was a city closed to foreigners and most Soviets, a harbor bristling with weapons of war and intelligence facilities. The Soviets transformed this Tsarist outpost of wooden houses and muddy streets into a modern city and huge naval base and named it Sovereign of the East. Even now, years after the collapse of the Soviet Union and the reopening of Vladivostok to the world, Soviet symbols still abound. The old center of communist power, the so-called White House, still rises above the townscape, now housing the new bureaucrats. It still carries the hammer and sickle of Soviet days on its facade. And in some ways, the new managers here are very much like the old, except that they pay far less attention to Moscow's edicts now. In contrast to many a Russian city, Vladivostok has not torn down its statues of Lenin. He still points the way here in the center of the city. Remote as it is from Moscow, Vladivostok is no hotbed of anti-Soviet ideology. The nearly 6,000-mile Trans-Siberian Railroad from Moscow ends at this ornate Tsarist-era railway station near the port. The week-long trip in railroad cars such as these, this is the actual train, is not a comfortable one, but the rail link has been a vital factor in Vladivostok's growth. Another crucial factor in that process, of course, has been Vladivostok's location on the ocean. The city forms an amphitheater around its port, the so-called Golden Horn, and beyond lies Amur Bay, which opens into the Sea of Japan. It is an ideal site and situation for a naval base, and for decades, Soviet warships plied the Pacific from here. To maintain Vladivostok's strategic location, the Soviets extended the Trans-Siberian Railroad to Nakotka, 50 miles away, and planned that city as the commercial port for the Far East region, while Vladivostok would always be the military one. But today, Vladivostok is a different place. The warships and support vessels lie rusting in the harbor. In the New World reality, Vladivostok has lost its strategic role, even as the Russian Federation has lost its capacity to sustain its military establishment in Soviet style. Still, the city has not lost its geographic advantages. Commercial traffic is returning to the harbor, legal and illegal. This fishing trawler pulled into port carrying a load of used cars, stacked precariously on its decks. Already, Vladivostok is competing with Nakotka, not just for today's trade, but for the future. The clique of bureaucrats and managers that has taken control here, and which operates as a syndicate, has its eyes on the resources of sea and soil around Vladivostok: fish, timber, oil, precious metals and stones, and ores. The city's vast hinterland stretches all the way to Sakha, or Yakutia, as many still call it, in eastern Siberia. In the meantime, this Russian city on the Pacific Rim pays little heed to a capital 10 time zones away. This is the capital, if not of a maritime republic, as some would like, then of a Primorsk region that will make its own way in this changing world.